Helen Hamlyn Centre started 26 years ago, particularly focused around design for ageing populations. And over the last 26 years, it has evolved significantly. And a lot of the challenges that we were starting to work on, or the centre was starting to work on, were around these big kind of global challenges. So we did projects in Fukushima after the nuclear disaster, working with communities there about how to rebuild their community. And so a lot of the projects that we were doing was sort of moving into this sort of social global space. And so I think that's really where it started. And then, like you say, it was kind of formalised in September last year. And that's when I came on board to kind of help out and set up this research area.
You get all this research out, there is so much data, there is so much information, it's very difficult to pick one thing, or how do you define what the insight is?
To relate it to a real project, I suppose we're doing something at the moment on obesity. And obviously we know that with tackling obesity, you're talking about diet, you're talking about lifestyle, you're talking about activity. But also, you know, having gone through the initial phases of talking to people, understanding the context, we've started to realise that it's also about safety in a particular area. It's about social networks. It's about some of the ways that the built environment is created to promote certain levels of activity or connection. So there's a whole load of different things or topics or themes that might come out of an exploration phase that actually then you start to say, well, actually the brief is changing and is something different because we feel that will tackle the problem better. So
fantastic. I think it's, as you said, the best time to be a designer, and I suppose it becomes, on one hand, an exciting space to be, because you can, as you said, work in architecture a bit in all different fields, and you solve problems that before were beyond your expertise. But at the same time, it becomes a very vague term.
Yeah.
Who designer is, what kind of qualifications and characteristics the designer needs. What would be your answer to who would you hire at Helen Hamlyn Centre for Design to work with you?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and I think, again, it comes back to that. It's a really interesting time to be a designer, because it is starting, or it has definitely picked up now, particularly within business and design thinking. And there are lots of courses on design thinking, and you could do a 2-hour course on design thinking, a 2-day course, a 2-week course. And I think it comes back to that point that it's great that design is being pushed out there in that way, and that people who from non-design backgrounds are getting a glimpse of design and some experience in design. But at the same time, we shouldn't, in a way, palm off all responsibility as trained designers to people who have done a couple of hours course on design thinking, for example. And we have to kind of almost celebrate the fact that we, like I say, we have trained as designers, we are experienced designers, and we should use those skills as well. So here at the centre, we do hire predominantly designers, predominantly RCA graduates. But again, like I say, they come from a range of different disciplines, from service design, information experience design, product design, architecture, vehicle design. So all sorts of different design disciplines, I suppose.
Last question. If you could change one thing in the world, what would it be?
Our use of technology, I think, would be one thing I would like to change. I went to, I think it's Terminal 5 at Heathrow or Terminal 2, I can't remember, and they had an iPad in the mirror, embedded in the mirror of the toilet, that showed you how to use the tap and the sink. And so I think, I don't know how rude you can be on this podcast or this thing, but if you need an iPad and an animation to tell you how to use a fucking tap, then you've designed the tap wrong. So that would be my pet hate.
Well, thank you, Jak.
No problem.
It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Please do not forget to subscribe to our channel. If you have more questions to Jak, you will be able to ask them if you're coming in September for the Design Thinking and Innovation Week. And we'll visit Helen Hamlyn Centre for Design and actually learn more about the types of problems and projects they work on here. And if you want to hear the full conversation, please go to our podcast, Creative Capes, and you will hear much more that we discussed, many more other questions that we discussed. Thanks a lot, and until next time.